Hey guys, today we're doing a follow-up tutorial for Magik. You guys seem to really like that last video. A lot of you guys gave some awesome comments and questions, and I really appreciated it. So I thought I would do a follow-up for anybody else that really likes this character and wants to get better with her. So today we're going to talk about, I think first things first, the patch notes that are coming out for this season. Magik's getting a nerf to her Slash and to her Demon. The Demon I think is a fair nerf. The Slash I don't really understand why they did it. I don't think it makes a big difference anyways, so I don't really care that they did it. If somebody goes into your ranked game and says swap off Magik, it's getting nerfed, blah 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 blah, when the season patch notes start, just ignore them. You know, let the haters hate. Nothing's really changed on this character in my opinion. In fact, they dropped the cost for her ult, and I think you're going to get ult more often now, and there's less support ults. The only thing that isn't really changing, and I'm not really happy about, is Bucky and Namor didn't get nerfed, which is kind of weird. So they're going to be super oppressive this next season, in my opinion. And because you don't have as many support ults, you might not get as many opportunities to kill them for free. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. I feel like there's going to be a lot more big ultimates coming because you're going to be getting your ult more often. So super important that you guys learn how to use it properly. So before we get into the ultimate, let me just go show you what I mean by nothing's really changing on this character. When I first read the patch notes, I was like, okay, come on, bro. Like, no BP nerf, no Namor nerf, no Bucky nerf, no nothing. And they nerfed Magik, who I think is like a really skilled and really enjoyable hero to play. Out of not just Marvel Rivals, but like the entire genre. Like, I think this is a sick character, right? Really satisfies a lot of people's wants when it comes to high skill, kind of like Genji, high mobility, a lot of positioning, problem solving, and thinking involved in her kit, right? So her combo with the primary melee, wave, primary melee, that does 250. It's still going to kill 250s. Because right now, it does 240 damage. Or 274. And it leaves Luna on 1 HP. So when they nerf this thing by, like, including the season bonus, like 6 or 7 damage, it's not going to change anything for Luna, because she still doesn't die. It's not going to change anything for 250s, because they're still going to die. The only thing it's going to change, really, is when you're running around in a super hectic fight, and there's no other ability involved, and you're just doing this and just kind of chucking out this wave in between shots, it's going to do a little bit less damage over time during those really hectic fights. You know, the ones where you're missing sword swings too, and like maybe the enemy gets away. I think that's where you're going to notice a difference with the nerf. Pretty much everything else is fine. So this combo is unaffected because nothing in it got nerfed. So you can still one-shot with 250. You can still do the 250 one-shot with just primary melee, wave, primary melee. Funnily enough, I actually thought this was going to screw up my like Thor training method, where you do what I was calling the max damage combo into the 250 combo, and I don't think it's actually going to make a difference either. So, and I haven't run the numbers on it, but let me check. Yeah, I think that even with 5 extra health right there, your primary does 30, you're still going to be able to do this training method. So even for my practice, nothing has really changed, okay? You're still, when you do this combo, even with the original primary melee thrown in, you're still not going to kill a tank, you know, in one shot. You're still going to need some kind of follow-up to it. So it's not changing anything for tanks. The demon damage, I think, is still going to be super crazy high, and it's still going to have a high time to kill if you combo it correctly. So really nothing has changed in my opinion. It's just that small damage over time, maybe during hectic team fights where there's a lot of weird healing and weird misses and stuff happening, you know what I mean. Aside from that though, it's nothing too serious. So let's get on with her ult. There's going to be 2 ways to ult with this character. There's 2 different styles. Same thing with how you initiate with Magik. There's basically 2 ways to initiate from long range with her. One of them is to charge up your slash, you follow it up with a dash, and you do a combo, right? The other is whirlwind dash. So you can do that as well. Same thing with her ult. What's really important about her ult, first of all, the preconditions to even punching the button is make sure you have 250 HP and you're behind a wall. If you want to not be behind a wall, have more than 250 HP. Have 350 or something like that. 300. And if you want to ult right in the middle of their team, have at least like 360, 375, or 400. Because you can get shot by Hawkeye dropped pretty quick in a group of people. But I find that when you're 390, 370 HP, blah, 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 you can pretty much press Q in the middle of their team and get away with it, especially if the fight is really hectic. So make sure that you recognize the preconditions to ulting, and then simultaneously understand who you're going after. Don't just press the button because you feel like it's the right time to press the button. When you get that feeling in your head where it's like, now's the time to ult, or I need to ult soon, start looking for an angle. Start looking for an opening. Start strategizing what you're about to do. Because there's a very specific way to do her ultimate that's going to net you the maximum amount of damage, and you're almost always going to start it off one of two ways. So figure out which way you're going to go plan for it, get yourself in position, and then once you have high enough health and you're in a safe place, whether it's inside of your own Luna ult or behind a wall, then you can press the button. And when you do, the first thing you want to do is get shields. And the best way to get shields is to immediately go for a whirlwind followed up by a dash. And the way you want to target the enemy is you want to check out this format right here. You've got two people that are grouped up together here. And let's call this the payload, right? So if the convoy or the payload is right here, most of the enemy team is probably grouped up right here on it and they're holding it or something, right? And here comes Magik on a flank angle. You know, they're worried about your team. There's somebody who's on the outside, okay? So Magik comes in on a flank angle, and let's say there's a wall here and I pop out or something, right? Or let's go over here. This will work. So Magik comes in on a flank angle, and she recognizes that there is a group of people, and then there's an outlier, a stranger, somebody who is further away from the main group, who is alone, kind of. And they don't have to be crazy far away. You don't even want them to be crazy far away. Just slightly out of the group. You want to pick on this person right here, okay? And the way you're going to do it is you're going to ult. You're going to start your swing so that your whirlwind damages the big group. So you're going to gain shields from everybody standing in this vicinity, and it carries over as you travel. So as that whirlwind is traveling through this group of people, you're gaining shields from all of them. So if you only have 250 HP, and it's really important that you do have 250, because if you don't have full base health and they break through your shields, you're really easy to kill. But if you do have full base health, you're even harder to kill. And if your healer isn't available, you can just keep those shields topped up and you'll stay really high HP. Whereas if you're low base health, you're more likely to die if you starve yourself for shields, essentially, or if you're unable to get shields. So you want to start in cover with 250 HP typically. You're going to instantly limbo, whirlwind, and you're going to dash straight towards the outlier, to this guy who's on the outside, okay? And look at your position once you're here. You're away from the group. Okay? Hopefully it doesn't put him right back there. Cool. So here's the group. Here's the outlier. When you dash the outlier, your position, your physical body is here, which means it's difficult for these guys to heal this guy. It's easy for you to finish him alone. You're not taking as much damage from their team, who wants you dead because you're ulting. They're looking at you. They want you to die. But you're further away. You're harder to hit because you're now over on this guy, okay? So immediately after you do the whirlwind into the dash, and then you hit the primary, you're going to hit primary one time on this guy. He's probably going to die to it. After that, instantly come back here and drop a demon. Okay? So think of it like this. You start in the group, you dash kill the outlier, you return to the group, and you leave them with an AoE damage that damages groups of people. Not a single person, groups of people are damaged by demons. So you return to the group. You drop the demon. You don't want to die, though, so you instantly leave again. And it doesn't have to be back towards this guy, because this guy's probably already dead. He doesn't even exist, technically. Maybe there's a different stranger, and he is over here, right? So you drop this demon in the group, and then you go over here, and you're going to instantly limbo. And you're probably still going to hit these guys. You can also just kind of juggle this group. Like, you can do this, and then you're still attacking the group. Whatever the situation is, you'll figure it out in game, right? But the concept here is focus on the group and the outlier, okay? And let's go through this again, because there's a lot more to it. So you're gonna ult, kill the outlier, demon your enemy, limbo, this, you get another one of these, dash, primary, drop demon. And the cool thing about demon is it persists after the ultimate is done. So look how much damage I got for free, because I dropped that at the very last second, okay? This can be used to cover your escape. You can use it to block a doorway while you're transforming out of your ultimate. You can, you know, just drop it on point and just get a bunch of shields to keep yourself alive as you're transforming. The second demon is super, super good. Now, for anybody who wants to nitpick and say, you know, maybe it's better to just do this over and over again. Just whirlwind slash whirlwind and just keep doing this, right? It is very effective, okay? It is not the maximum amount of damage, but sometimes in this game, what is the most efficient? It doesn't fucking matter, okay? What matters in that moment is what's going to get the job done, and recognizing what is going to take that to do it, and then following up on it, right? And that's kind of what I try to do with my training exercise with the Thors, right? Is that one guy, that outlier, that one that you're not predicting, you are training your brain to recognize how low their HP is, and then to hit them with the appropriate combo to kill them, right? Same thing with your ultimate, is you're going to kind of base your ultimate off of what's going on the battlefield, and I can't really tell you. But if you just want raw numbers, do this, right? So one more time, start here, attack here, return to the group. If you want, stay with the group or attack the outlier, come back, target another outlier, and then finally return to the group. Okay? So think of how effective this is to a convoy or to a point or to a group of people trying to walk through a door. You basically can chip their health downward, kill their healer, or whoever would be helping them. And by the way, this guy is actually in a great position usually. And the reason you kill him is because he's away from the group. He's on an off angle. An off angle is a threat to your team. And if this is a healer on an off angle, it means he's never going to let them die, because he's not going to die. So if this guy is a healer, and these are their mains, and you target him, you've now cut off their supply for healing. And you've also removed an advantageous position from your enemy. Same thing if this is any other type of flanker that was taking a good position, you just instantly deny them that ability. And that's going to save your team in some instances, right? So that's it. I'll show it to you one more time. You know, maybe you stick with them, come back over here, drop another demon. And what's really important as well, just so I make sure I mention it, is the dash cooldown is 6 seconds in her ult. So you get one basically in the beginning, in the first 6 seconds, and you get one in the second 6 seconds. After that, you're all out of dashes, okay? The dash in her ult is a finishing move. It will usually be what finishes or kills anybody during your ult. You want to treat it like such, okay? Number one mistake that I've seen when reviewing other people's VODs is I've seen them ultimate, and they understand the concept that, like, there's a group of people over there. I need to go over there and start swinging at them. And so they'll do this shit, right? And then they usually die right about here because they're not playing very smart. And they miss their dash. The dash does a lot of damage, so it gives you a lot of shields. It does a lot of damage to them, so it usually picks off a player instantaneously, and the fight turns in your favor. Don't use your dash for mobility, unless you absolutely have to during her ultimate. Her limbos are more than enough to traverse the map, essentially. And you should be hitting that dash, and it'll traverse the map for you. So, yeah, just don't waste them on pure mobility, is all I can really recommend there. Everything else is pretty much idiot-proof. As long as you just keep pressing buttons, you'll do a good amount of damage. So the other option for your ultimate... Oh, and before I get to that, there is a different way to do this. So you can start like this, and then instead of demoning, you can go for limbo, and then you can go for demon, and then you get this guy, final dash, and then final demon. You can switch out the order in which you drop that demon and then do immediate limbo. If you want, do the limbo first, do the demon second, because that first limbo, maybe it gets you more shields, keeps you alive. The reason I prefer to drop the demon before I do that second limbo is because they're usually not expecting it, and 2, once you drop the demon, it starts chipping down all those people's health. And people who have chipped down health are really susceptible to dying to the whirlwind, because it's also AoE, right? So what I like to do is drop that demon, it chips them down, and then I finish maybe sometimes 2 or 3 people at a time with that next whirlwind. If you do it out of order, what happens is you're dropping demon, and then you're stuck here before you get your next dash. You're only stuck there for like 1 primary hit, but, you know, you're stuck on your demon. And you can kite the demon or hold the doorway with it for a brief second, whatever you want to do. But, you know, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Pick whichever one fits you best. Aside from that, the other way to ultimate is the slash and dash one. And I recommend this especially if they're using support ults. And this isn't going to be as necessary because support ults are getting nerfed. So beforehand, you know, we're dealing with triple support, and you can't kill anything. And the second you press Q against a support ult on Magik, all your damage is getting you stuff on the scoreboard, it's increasing your shields, but they don't die. You know, it's just not high enough damage. The only thing that is in her kit to kill something through that is ulted slash and dash. So if you want to do an ult slash and dash, start behind a wall, charge it up 2/3 of the way, and you can do something like that, okay? Now what's important is if you want this last demon, you typically don't want to fully charge these slashes. Miles may vary on your ability to assassinate through a support ult though. But for the most part, anybody that isn't a tank, if you only charge this thing to like 2/3 of the way, and then you hit the slash, like, it does a lot of damage, okay? They're probably not going to survive it anyways, so you don't really have to hold this all the way to the end. Just charge it up. I count to 3. 1, 2, 3, slash dash, primary, drop demon, drop limbo, and then once this is ready, I start charging it, and then the dash will reset as I'm charging it, and then you get like 1 more primary, and then you can drop that final demon. So I'll show you one more time. I'll try to get it clean. So you can go for whirlwind dash there, like that. Oh, I fucked that one up. We'll just wait that out. So you can go for assassination, and then mid-ult you can transfer over to doing a whirlwind dash execution. But if they're support ulting, and you have to do this twice, you do that. And then you instantly start charging, and you should get that dash back. And then if you're very quick about it, drop that demon. I'm probably not going to get it. It is kind of hard to get that demon right at the end, especially. It kind of is dependent on how much time you spend moving without doing an ability in the heat of the moment. But the benefit to knowing this combo is being able to practice it. And I've noticed that the more that I practice, especially this, like this one is muscle memory to me at this point. I don't use the other one as much. That to me is muscle memory at this point. It's the same thing to me as just doing a 250 combo. So if you aren't at a point where you press Q and you instantly know how to do the maximum amount of damage, take this into practice range, go practice it until it's muscle memory, and see how that works out for you. And then once you kind of understand that and you realize that like every time you ult, you're basically going to start like this, no matter what you do, just to gain shields. See, I'm at 400 shields now. If you just do that very first thing, that's just how you start any ult in any situation. The only time you don't do that is when you're doing the slash and dash. And like slash and dash is just kind of ineffective in the sense that you're going to have kind of more downtime during the ult because you're sitting here charging while walking around, and you're just more likely to die because while you're doing this, what you're not doing is gaining shields, right? So the whole slash and dash form of the ult, it's good against, you know, somebody who's support ulting, but I think with the nerfs to it, I don't even know if I'm going to use this combo much anymore. It is useful though, so I do have to show it to you, but honestly, you're probably going to get more team wipes with this style. Oh, that was an extra limbo I wasn't supposed to do right there. I shouldn't have had that third one. But that style is probably going to get you a lot further than going for these slash and dashes. They put you in a vulnerable spot. They're not crazy effective. If you miss them, you're basically wasting your whole ult. It's kind of sketchy. So, yeah. Ultimate's done with now. We'll move on to the next topic. The last thing I wanted to share with you guys is just more combos for her that you can practice. I'm going to call these like walk-ups, okay? And we're going to kind of divide all of her combos up into 3 different categories. You have the long range, which is when you combo limbo with dash. And that can be either the whirlwind dash or the demon dash, right? So that's a long range attack for Magik. A medium range for her is just a single limbo before you initiate. Okay? And then a short range is nothing. No limbo, no dash. You just walk right up to somebody and you just start attacking them, okay? Now, the long range one, the advantage that I discussed in the last video is the second you press limbo, that thing starts going on cooldown. Let me set this up so you can see the cooldowns. So the second you press that limbo, right, you're going on cooldown. And by the time you're done with your combo, you're pretty much filled back up. Another thing that I really like to do is pay attention to that 3-second timer. If you wait the full 3 seconds each time, you will massively increase the amount of times that you can limbo. And if you want to drag it out even further, then check out this style of moving around the map. So the way that I like to move, and if you guys can think of like Burn into Chala, the left side where you're going up the staircase and there's a 250, this is how I enter that, right? So I start charging up, and then I move to the corner, and I drop a demon, and I start holding this, I move to the corner, maybe I walk, now I do whirlwind at the bottom of that 3-second timer. And if you look at my limbo, it's already reset back to 2. So what's really good about Magik is if you can keep her limbos at 2 or right next to 2, like where it's about to turn 2, you're going to survive and deal damage for longer periods of time. And you can do that by just waiting the 3 seconds, drop demon, hold your slash. The earlier you drop the demons, the faster you're going to run out of limbos. But if you just wait a little bit, you wait the full 3 seconds, because it's a 6-second timer for limbo. So 3 seconds is half of it, right? So you do this, you wait, you may hold this corner, you may get threatening, nobody's there, I'm taking space. Let's hold this corner. Let's get threatening. You know what? Oh, there's somebody. And then look at my limbo. It's already reset. So I have another limbo. I have another limbo. I have a dash. Oh look, my limbo's reset again. You know. So if you can try to pace yourself like that, that's a really good way to play Magic. It'll save your butt a lot. Because as you get to those higher ranks, you're going to notice when you start to do things like the max damage combo, you're committing a lot of resources. And guess what? Now you have none. So if you take your time and you get behind the enemy without using an ability to do so, because you can do this, right, to get behind them, or you can just take the flank angle, come back here, and then you do the walk up. And if they allow you to do this, and then hit them with dash, primary melee. And then you still have 2 full limbos. That's the best position you can be in, right? But alternatively, if you're 250 HP, how do you want to initiate? Do you really want to walk right into somebody's team with only 250 HP? Preferably not. So if you see a big group of them, you use the medium length. So you do the demon, and you drop the demon, you get yourself some shields, and then immediately, you know, you start doing your attack, like that. But here's the other thing to consider, the 3-second rule. So a medium length attack on Magik is not 10. This isn't the medium. Medium is the limbo plus the 3 seconds of walking. So medium is more like back here. Say you're behind cover, there's a big open space here, or maybe a flank route. What you really want to do is get here, then you can do whatever combo it is that you want to do. And because, you know, it just reset back to 2 on the limbo, because I waited those 3 seconds, once you finish whatever it is that you're doing to this guy, maybe you kill him, and the whole team looks at you, getting pissed off that you just killed their healer. Maybe you don't kill them, and now the whole team is pissed off, and this dude's pissed off, and they're all looking to kill you. Would you rather have 2 full limbos, or would you rather have 1 limbo and a quarter, where you use that 1 limbo and then you're just stuck here until it regens, and the only option you have is dash? And dash is a great ability, it's good for mobility, but dash doesn't go through people, only limbo does. So if somebody walks in front of you, and it's very likely that this happens, and you try to dash away, you just get stuck in place. Which is why it oftentimes will look like Doomfist or Magik is inting and dying. Because what happens is, let's say you miss your initial dash, you're now in their backline. You're trying to survive, but you can't because limbo doesn't get you very far. And then finally, you're in this position, your dash finally resets and you go, oh, I'm gonna get out of here! And then it ends up hitting this Thor right here. And now you're stuck here with no abilities again. And now you die. And your team is like, wow, our Magik is inting. And just dying. And all of that stems just from missing your very first dash. So the dash is super important to hit. And with that said, the question becomes, would you rather dash somebody from far away and maybe you don't hit them, or if you take this route where you get free value from them not punishing your position? If you get behind them, that's free value. How do you redeem that value? By walking up. You know, you do your mid-range. Maybe you hit the whole group. You do your combo. Let me show you a better example. So, 1, 2, 3, hit the whole team. Hit this guy. That's what you do. You're 400 HP, and you still have 2 limbos that are on full charge. So you really can get out of there. So that's what I consider a walk-up. Use walk-ups whenever you can. This right here, I would consider a walk-up. That's what you're going to use when you're combating a Moon Knight on a flank angle and you are way too close to him. If you can walk up to somebody and just do this combo, it's pretty good. It only really is going to work on 250s and when they don't have a healer, because that'll finish them off. Otherwise, like, let's go take a look at Luna real quick. So So if you look at Luna and you do this combo, even after the nerf, it's not gonna change anything. You do this combo, it doesn't kill her. These are on 1 HP, right? But in the exact same amount of time, you could do this. And that didn't even require me to do a cancel, right? So it's the same exact time to kill. I'm not wasting my time trying to get a primary melee, because sometimes when you try to primary melee, all you do is melee. It cancels your primary. So there's a risk every time you go for one of these more complicated combos that you actually end up cucking yourself and doing less damage than you intended, right? And it's funny because there's people who are like, I'm a really high rank and like I feel like I'm doing worse on Magik. And it could be because you're going in there and you're trying to hit these, but instead of doing that much damage, you're just doing that. And you're like, why aren't I killing anybody? You know? And it's because you're overcomplicating the process. Now that isn't to say that like this doesn't do more damage. It does. There's just certain ways that using this combo, like especially when you knock somebody up in the air, by the time they hit the ground, if you're doing that melee, your wave is occurring on the ground. And so they might get cover, they might get healed. It's better to do the combo mid-air, and then you finish them on the ground with a melee, because melee travels through people anyways. So it doesn't really change anything with Luna. Sometimes you just kind of want to walk up to somebody and just do chip damage. So a lot of times I encourage people to not instantly dedicate all of their abilities onto someone. Like the only time you really want to do that is like when you're doing a long range assassination that they're not expecting, like this, right? Like it's okay to ability dump when you do this one specifically, because you're planning it, you're positioning for it. But if you do a walk up, rather than instantly dedicating on them, maybe jiggle a wall, right? And like I showed you before, when you jiggle the wall and you get close to them, you do the primary melee. As you walk away, you hit them with the swipe, right? So sometimes what you like to do is every hero kind of has their own breakpoint for their health. For a 250 HP hero, I like to think of it like this. 250 HP, I'm full health. The only thing that should kill me is a Hawkeye arrow to the head. When I get to 180 health, my perspective changes as the person who's at 180 health significantly. I now feel that I am at risk. I'm not gonna die just by existing near somebody, for the most part, but there's a propensity to die here. There's a possibility that I lose my life, right? At 180, the alarm bell starts ringing for me. So if I'm in a fight with somebody and they deal that much damage, which is 100 plus damage from her sword swing primary, I think it's like 105, right? That takes me from 250 HP to 150 HP. And alarm bells for me start at 180, and I freak out when I hit below 150 HP. If my health goes below 150, I get the fuck out right away, okay? So think of it like this. If you're at a high level and you are 1v1ing on a flank route as a DPS, which is what Magik should be doing, here's how you bait out the enemy team. Instead of instantly going for them, and maybe they get a health pack, maybe they get healed, bait them into coming after you. So hit them with one sword swing while hiding behind a wall. Go like this, hit them with the sword swing, and fall back, okay? If you see their health rounding the corner and you watch it get healed, fall back even further. If you see that you did a free sword swing to him and he's still pushing around the corner and his health hasn't changed, what does that tell you? It tells you that A, you've put him at low enough health where your follow-up to kill him, because you're at 250 HP, you didn't take damage when you peeked that corner. You just gave him a quick sword swing, right? He is now at 180 HP. You're at 250. So you're going to be able to easily come in and finish him. And because he's pushing and his health didn't change, it tells you that his healer isn't looking at him. And that, in my opinion, is even more valuable. Because sometimes you start doing all this, right? And what happens? They just start getting healed. Okay, so you just wasted your ability for nothing. You got a little bit of ult charge or something, right? But you didn't kill the guy. So give this a try. Instead of immediately dedicating all of your combos and stuff to people, just hit them with a single sword and back up, and if they push it, then you go for this, right? Because you know that they're inting. You know that they're pushing aggro when they shouldn't be pushing. So that's kind of how I like to play Magik, and it makes a lot more sense why I'm like kind of avoiding using primary melee all the time in my matches, because I tried doing it for a while, and I didn't like the results of it because it was getting me killed more often. And the reason why is if you try this against Luna Snow, it's less efficient than just doing this. And that didn't even require the cancels, right? So if you apply what I just told you, which is you're fighting somebody, hit them, fall off, then dedicate, look what it just did. It's exactly the same combo I just showed you. One hit, then combo. Except you're using cover in between the one hit and the combo. So one hit, oh, no heals, finish him. That's what I like to think of. Now this isn't something that's perfectly applicable at really low ranks, because nobody knows what's going on at low ranks. So using information like are there healers looking at them probably don't even matter, because their healer is probably an AoE healer, and even though he's not looking at them, like he's doing some kind of heals, and he has no idea he's even doing it. Whereas in a higher rank, you've got people like Luna or Sue, and if you're on a flank, Sue is not going to be able to throw a bubble to win that 1v1 through a wall. All that's going to matter is, do they have line of sight, and can Sue just shoot out some healing right now? And when you do that tester, if you don't see that healing, that gives you the information that healers are distracted, and this is a free kill. So that's a bit of a mentality change for Magik. If you're somebody who really likes like the spammy playstyle, or you're just trying to do as much damage as possible, it's going to work out. But there's just so many advantages that start stacking up for Magik when you start flanking and when you start taking these different routes and these different angles. And one of them is just the fact that you get to walk up to people without them knowing you're there. Another one is you put yourself in a position between the enemy tanks and the healers, and the enemy tanks are unaware of your doings, and because you took that route, you're no longer just walking main, right? So now you get all this extra value from the flank. Not only that, but you're denying the enemy flankers value because you're taking the flank route. You're the one 1v1ing on the health packs, right? And Magik is kind of like the queen of the 1v1s in my opinion. She's not the best 1v1er, but I think she's the most versatile, and she can basically 1v1 almost anyone on the cast. So having her on the flank, it doesn't just give her so many abilities, but it denies so many things to the other team. And if you can do that effectively, and you can change your playstyle to accommodate that, you're going to go absolutely crazy, right? Because the last thing that you want to do, let's say you were to ult behind this team. Number one, her ult is super loud. So if your team is coming through choke, and they're all looking that direction, even if you ult right here, you're in their backline, what are they going to do? They're going to turn around. They're going to look your direction because they're like, oh shit, there's an ulting Magik in our backline. How do they react to that? They either have to continue staring straight and you eat their backline for free, or they peel you and your front line eats their front line for free. So just taking that flank angle is what allowed that to happen though. Because if you didn't take the flank angle and you stayed over here and you press your ult, what's happening? Nothing has changed. The Thor or the enemy front line is still looking directly in front of him. These guys back here are still perfectly safe. So you need to be taking these flank angles with Magik. You need to be utilizing her combos in a way which you start off with just like a little feeler, a little tickle. You're sensing them, right? You're giving them a sniff. Does this person have support from his team? And can I kill him for free? If you don't get that information, and you don't need that information, you're probably on a flank angle, you're probably closer to the health pack than the other guy, that guy's a free kill, right? But once you start getting into a spot where they're trying to sense you out, they're trying to push you out of a position, and you're trying to kind of like bait them into coming down a weird flank angle to capture you and like solidify the kill, you know, because people will start chasing. They'll see somebody low HP, and they'll be like, oh, I can kill this guy. And when they start following you, what they're doing is they're leaving their team behind, and they're chasing you. But they don't realize that you're closer to the health pack than they are. You get full health. Now they're at the disadvantage. Now they're away from their team. You're next to a health pack. You took it, and now you win the 1v1. And when you're done with that 1v1, you're still on the flank angle, and you just walk back up to their team, and you just keep wreaking havoc.
Too easy.
So I hope this helped you guys out. It's probably a little long and rambly, and I've recorded this like a dozen times now, so I forget if I've said something or if I haven't said something, but I just wanted to get the information out there. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking around, and if you guys have any other questions or you want me to do like a VOD review, or maybe while I play my own match I can commentate it and kind of tell you what I'm doing and thinking, whatever helps you guys out. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Okay, see ya.